Everyone, let's welcome Chrissy Costanza to Dragon Talk. Yay!
Hello. I'm so excited.
Woo! Welcome.
We're excited too. Our studio audience is going nuts.
Yes.
They're raving.
Come on. Wow. So you guys, keep it down. Keep it down. It's crazy over here. The studio audience being my dog, Puppy.
Oh, I'm so jealous. My puppy's back in New Jersey with my family, so I know. I need a dog here in LA. That's my next mission.
Yes, definitely. Dogs are very, very useful.
Yes.
In a
you
pandemic.
can find them.
Yes,
They're out there. Just welcome them in from the street. They might be coyotes, but it doesn't matter.
It's fine. It's fine. They're dogs. It's dog-like.
Fur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cuddly.
Warm, all good. All good.
Domesticate anything with food,
Seriously.
Exactly. So we're so excited to talk to you. I mean, a lot of folks may recognize you from singing in the band Against the Current, as well as in the gaming world, performing for League of Legends at the World Championship in 2017. I remember seeing all of those crazy... Wasn't that the one with the VR?
Yeah, the VR dragon
happening?
or the AR dragon. Yeah, that was like one of the first times AR was used like that in a live stream space, and it was really crazy being a part of that experience and watching that, and all the nerves the night before, being like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna come out? Like, millions of people are watching this live. Like, is the production team's like freaking out, and me just sitting there like, sure, like I hope it all works.
I'm going to keep singing.
Yeah,
regardless.
I'll be there.
Millions of people, like literally millions of people were listening to you.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Oh, I was terrified. I don't usually get stage fright anymore because I've been in a band since I was 15 and performing even before that. So like stage fright is really foreign to me at this point because it's just, it's you do something enough times. It is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a totally different experience. And the stage was massive. It was like, it was so big. Getting from one end to another was exhausting. And it was just one of those things where I was like, oh my God, am I going to hit the mark on time? There were so many other things to think about because my band we're a rock band. So when we play a show, there's no choreography. There's no like timing. There's timing of the music, but you know what I mean? Things aren't planned. It's a little bit more fluid, but this was like, okay, you have to hit this mark at this point and this mark at that point. And then there was a couple little moves in there. And, you have to be here for this camera and here for that camera at this moment. You want to hit right here and then don't go here because the cryo goes off then. And it was like, oh my God, like I don't have any brain power left to think about singing.
That's the easiest part of the job, right?
Yeah. At that point, yes.
Those of you listening didn't get to see all of the dance moves that you were just doing, like, almost by rote that you were remembering, like, there's the moves that you had to do.
I was like, oh God, and it was so minimal, the amount of dance moves. It was like literally just like a little arm movement, but like, I can't dance for shit. Like I am terrible at dancing. I am an awful dancer. So when they were just like, oh yeah, we're going to throw just like a couple little moments of choreography in there, I was like, oh no, this is not good. You say up, I go down. Like this is not gonna be a good situation.
Stage left or stage down, up down?
I was like, is it stage left or is it left? Like which left are we talking about? Yeah. And especially on a stage like that where it was massive, but also in the center of the stadium, I was like, I don't even know which way the front is. So yeah.
Yeah. No, too much. I'm with you on the no rhythm, no instincts either when it comes to dancing. I was a theater major, and it was. I also can't sing, so all I can really do is memorize. I'm really good at memorizing things, so I was like, yes, I'll memorize lines. Sure, I can do that.
I did theater in high school, but I'm the opposite. Can't memorize lines, but also can't dance.
But you're also
and can't really
crazy
harmonize
talented
either. So the odds were against me there.
Yeah, but you can sing really well.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So I feel like that could carry you over the maybe not being able to dance that well.
We'll see, hopefully. That's why I was in rock music. I was like, I definitely would be the world's worst pop star. So
how did this partnership with Riot Games come to be?
Yeah, so I actually had been playing League of Legends for years at that point. I started playing when I was probably like 16 or 17. I think it was either the end of season 2 or the beginning of season 3 that I started playing. And our manager at the time also played League of Legends, and a bunch of our friends. And I don't know how he came in contact with some of the guys at Riot. I think through our producer at the time had like grown up with some of the guys in the music department at Riot. And we started having these conversations. And at the time, I loved the game, but I had no concept of the esports space whatsoever. So I didn't know what the opening ceremony was. I didn't know what Worlds was. I didn't know about pro gaming in any kind of way. And they just basically started saying, you know, we do a song every year, our World's anthem, and we would love for you to do a demo of it. And we were like, cool, this is amazing. Yeah, sure. I love this game. But I didn't really realize what was at stake at that moment. I was just really excited because I loved the video game so much. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to be part of this world, this universe. So we cut a demo, and then we actually ended up cutting another demo. And then finally it was like, okay, you're going to do the song and you're going to perform at the opening ceremony. And I'm like, cool, what's that? And then they showed us the video of Imagine Dragons performing in 2014. And I was like, what? Like, what is this? Because this is, and that's 2.5 years ago at that point too. And they're like, yeah, so we're going to be performing at the Bird's Nest, which is the Olympic Stadium in Beijing. And I was just, I think my jaw hit the floor. I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, so we'll have 50,000 in attendance. But then it live broadcast to tens of millions of people. And I wanted to throw up, but also like scream in excitement at the same time, because I was like, what is this? What is this world? Because I just at that point had just been fumbling around in the game, like loving the game, such a big fan of the game. I was playing with pro players that we were mutual friends, because my band started, we did a lot of YouTube covers in the beginning. And for some reason, a lot of the YouTube cover artists were friends with some of the League of Legends pro players. And so I would play with these pro players and have no idea who they were. And like other people would be like, you're playing with Meteos? He's the best jungler in North America. And I was like, he's so nice. He always gets mine. So it was one of those things where it was like a roller coaster, and I didn't really realize the magnitude of it until I walked into that stadium for the first time. And then I was like, this is no joke whatsoever. This is different than anything else in the world.
So then
that is mind blowing.
It is really mind blowing. But I'm trying to connect the dots now to a few years later. You are streaming and on this broadcaster network called Ven, and then you get introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. Is that right?
Yes. So I was streaming, and then last year Ben started reaching out to me about hosting a show called Guest House. And then I started hosting a show called Guest House, and different guests come in and we play all different games. We play whatever, we build the show around the guest. And one of our guests coming up was Anna Prosser. And Anna Prosser is obviously huge in the Dungeons and Dragons universe world. Like, she's amazing. She's wonderful as a human being. And it was like, okay, Chrissy, have you ever played D&D before? And I was like, no, never. I've always wanted to, but I never had friends that played growing up. Where I grew up, I didn't even have friends that played video games. So wow. I was kind of just in my own world. So I made my character beforehand and everything. And I was so nervous because, it's all like, it's like jazz. It's all like free form, there's not really, there is a rule book, but you have to do everything. Like, you have to make everything up yourself, like in terms of like what you do. And the first time I was doing it wasn't like in a small room with my friends. It's on a live stream with like this legend in the space. And I had so much fun. It was literally like the best experience. We got about halfway through the first campaign, because we were doing a very small campaign in the first episode. And I was like, I could not wait to get to the second half of to the next episode to do the second half of the campaign. I was like, but what's upstairs? Like, I need to know. It was so much fun. Oh, it was amazing.
That's so cool.
No, I'm just I just love that your first experience was great. It was something you always wanted to do. And of course, having Anna be there to guide you through it is not going to hurt for sure.
And she's amazing too. And she's also just like very comforting to be around. Because like I said, you know, putting yourself out there on a live stream, not knowing anything, and me being like, can I do this? Like, I don't know if I can I think that's half the thing for any beginner with D&D. And that's what everybody told me, is just getting over the fear of just trying to do something. And if you can't, you can't. It's not that big a deal. But of course, like, everyone wants to be good at whatever they're doing. You know, you don't want to look like stupid or and Anna was so good at guiding me through it and like setting me up to do things, so I didn't have to completely think of things from scratch, and creating a relationship between our characters, so I could always be playing off of her. So I feel very lucky that my first D&D experience was with her.
That's awesome. I just love the fact that you were talking about not having stage fright about getting up in front of people, and then maybe a little bit when there were millions watching in the bird's nest, but to have the nervousness about like, oh, I don't know what it's like to play D&D. I just think that's so relatable for everybody out there.
Dude, I'm honestly, before the show, like our producer at the time is one of my best friends. We game together every night. And before that show, I was like, oh my God, I am so nervous for this episode. And I was never nervous for an episode of the show. I was like, I'm so nervous. What if I sound stupid? What if I mess up? What if I like break the rules? Like I was so nervous, but it was so much fun. I was like, this is everything to me.
Yeah, I think those are very common fears. And I still, after years of playing, I still go into every game like, what if I'm dumb? What if I do something stupid? Like, it's just, you just care, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious so you had not played, but you said you had expressed or wanted to play, but didn't have friends that did. Did you go into it with any preconceived notions of what the game was going to be like and realized that it was much different than that?
Yeah, I really actually knew nothing about the gameplay itself, like how the game actually played. So I think the thing that was most challenging for me was understanding like when to roll and what to roll for, and like and also choosing your actions based on what skills I had. You know what I mean? So because I would rather roll on this where I have +4 rather than that I don't have any proficiency in. And that was the thing that was the most, I think, the most overwhelming. But like I said, I had someone like Anna there, and also Sarah, our DM, they were very much, they were very patient with me, but also willing to be like, hey, maybe don't do that. Maybe do this because this is your character and your character's good at this and you'll get a much better role there. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was, because I think before I didn't understand how the game was structured. I think I knew it was a lot. It was role play. It was, you create the world yourself, you create your character, you create your story. So I was like, how are the rules? What are the rules? And I didn't realize how actually structured it can be. And it was really, really cool to get to do that. And I don't know, I think the game's just genius. I think it's so genius. And I'm so excited. I'm like, my friends and I are planning a campaign, and I'm so excited. I'm literally buzzing thinking about it. I cannot wait to play more because I haven't played since that.
Nice. Well, what was your character that you created for that? You were stressed about it and making it, but how did it end up, fulfilling that fantasy for you?
So I made, I think the most fun that I had was kind of creating a personality. Her name was Katana, and she was a little like rogue assassin. I think she was a tiefling. I believe. Nice. But then I made her like very like creepy and awkward. Like she walks like kind of leaned over and like creeps around throughout the corners. And it went really well with Anna's character Harith, because Harith kind of like took the lead and was like my mentor. And then I would like kind of sneak around and creep behind Harith and like follow Harith wherever they went. So it was really fun getting to like create that dynamic and create a character that was not like me at all was really fun too, because I really wanted to challenge myself to not just create myself into the game.
That's good, because that's usually what a lot of first-time players do, myself included, is just like, oh, this is my little wish fulfillment fantasy, that we all want out there. And then it's only after people get a little bit more comfortable with the rules or bored with that specific character type that they branch out. But I love that you were like, no, I want to go full on in. I love that you even changed your posture a little bit. Yeah, because that sometimes little things like that are all you need to really bring a character to life.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was definitely helpful to watch. Like more of that came out the more I watched Anna paint the picture of how her character was, and we were also playing with Jimmy Wong, and Jimmy, would paint the picture of his character, and then I realized, oh, there are like these. I can add these little like textural elements that are just fun to add, I guess. Like Jimmy's character was kind of like rough and like. Jaded and Anna was like very like prideful and stood very straight up and then I was like, oh, what should how should my character like appear, like what's their stance? And then I was like, I don't know, for some reason I was like, I just want her to be a weirdo. I want her to be so like a little bit of like a little freaky, like a little like just creeping around, skulking everywhere, because Anna and Jimmy's characters both kind of had this more like regal, strong, powerful energy to them. So I was like, also, additionally, like what's kind of opposite of that? What can I do that would be very different? Because my other natural inclination is like just kind of adopt what they're saying as well. And I'm like, okay, I have to push myself out of that. I have to push myself out of my comfort zone.
Wow. Yeah, you threw yourself into it for sure.
I was like, because like I said, I had wanted to play for so long, and I have a group of friends that play and who are always, they were saying like, oh yeah, once we finish this campaign, but they were on a really long campaign.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I really just want to go for it. I want to go all the way in. There was one moment in the campaign where we were fighting these like skeletal horses, and I was like, can I try and swing up onto the horse? And this was like a half hour in. And they were like, yeah, roll for this. And so I rolled and I swung up on the horse. And then the next time it was my turn, I was like, I want to stab my dagger into between their vertebrae and try and shatter the whole vertebrae and like shatter the horse like that. And I rolled and it happened. And everyone was like, where did that come from? And I was like, I don't know. I read a lot of fantasy novels growing up, and I really just I had this image in my head. I was like, I just wanted to explode this skeleton horse. It was so much fun. I'm like, literally, it was so much fun.
That is such a great and like visceral image too. Like I see the swinging up like Legolas in Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
And then, smashing that vertebrae to have it fall all apart. Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's what's so cool is having this thing that's in your head and describing it, and then it puts in everybody else's head at the same time.
Yeah, it was so fun. And it was just, I was really excited too, because it was such a good group of people. Like it was Anna and Jimmy, and then Sarah was our DM, and Sarah also created this character she's created the combat wheelchair, and like the like there's like a sheet on how to use it and everything. And it was so cool because it was such a diverse group of people who created a diverse group of characters, and to have that be my first experience was just so fun. I was like, this is so cool. Like you could do anything in this world. I mean, obviously there are rules, but like
you can try anything.
Yeah, you could try anything. And I don't know, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So Sarah Thompson was your dungeon master? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So great. We just had her on a few weeks ago.
Yes, Sarah was our DM. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so you definitely had a great group of people for your first
D&D experience. I am so aware that I am very lucky with what my first group was for D&D. And Sarah was also awesome too, because once again she knew that it was my like absolute first time, that I had never played the game and I had very minimal experience even watching or knowing any of the rules. So she was super helpful in guiding me as well, and being a bit more lenient as well, with what we could and couldn't do and how we could move throughout the campaign. So it was really awesome. She was incredible.
Yeah, that's good. There's dungeon masters are special people anyway.
Yeah.
But it's a special skill to be a dungeon master for a first-time player. But I feel like there's just more pressure, and maybe this is just perceived. Greg, I'm not a dungeon master, but Greg is, so maybe you can answer that. But I would, playing with people who are new, I feel the pressure. I'm like, I really want them to like this game.
Yeah.
I really want them to have fun. I really want them to have a big success. Is that something you deal with, Greg, when you're DMing for new people? Or you're just like, whatever, you're going to fail, you're going to fail.
It runs the gamut, You want to encourage role play as much as possible, but also realize that there's a lot that needs to be balanced over the course of the game, and you don't want to give them too much focus because then it feels like you're hand-holding, but then you don't want to, throw them to the wolves and, just be, oh, okay, yeah, you want to... You're a paladin and you want to sneak up and try to stab someone? Sure, all right. Yeah, you want to encourage them to use, as you were saying, Christina, use the skills of the character that you're good at, right? As much as possible, and encourage ways like that. But yeah, no, there is. I mean, it's similar to, I've dungeon mastered a bunch of times, and I'm just, I have a little bit more stage fright than I think you do in general, but when it's with a new player, you get that little extra bit of like, oh, I want to make sure because I don't want to have this first impression be a bad one.
I know. Well, we always hear a little story, like people, oftentimes, Chrissy, you're kind of an outlier here, but a lot of times people will say their first experience playing D&D sometimes it wasn't great. Like either the group wasn't a good match for them or whatever. Like, years and years pass and then they try it again and thankfully they have a better experience. So I don't want to be that dungeon master that gives somebody that bad experience, I guess.
I think part of it too was because we were playing it on stream. I really wanted to full send it and not be timid. I think maybe actually, weirdly enough, if I was playing it in a more comfortable setting, that I might have been a little bit more reserved and watched it play out with everyone else more, which then wouldn't have been as fun. So I think based on my first experience that just full sending as much as you can your first experience is the best way to do it. Of course, having a good group to full send with is really important, but if you full send, you probably will have more fun. And if you mess up, it doesn't matter. Jimmy and Anna both tried things where Sarah was kind of like, you can't really do that. And they've been playing for years. So I think not being afraid of messing up is super important.
Maybe that's the rock star in you too, a little bit too, where you're just like, I'm just going to do balls to the wall, do this as much as possible and hope it lands,
Well, I was terrified, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to be that person that the worst person I think in any situation in the world is the person that's too cool and doesn't try, right? We never like that person. No one ever likes that person. The person's like afraid to try because they don't want to look stupid. So I was like, if I look stupid, then screw it. You know what? At least I'll have really swung for the fences. So, and I ended up having a lot of fun. And then the second half of the campaign, when we did the second episode, I was way more confident to try different things because I had, kind of full sent it the first time and it was fun. And I kind of realized, this isn't, there's nothing to be scared of here. If you can't do something, you just literally can't do it. And that's it. You don't get kicked out of the group. It's not well, nope, you never are allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons again. Nope. You're done. Goodbye. Good night. Good try. Thanks for joining us. And so long. Yep. But no.
We welcome all crazy attempts. That is what makes the game memorable, right?
Yes. Those are the things I love. The crazy attempts.
Me too. And who knows? You might just roll a 20 and pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a few nat 20s and it was every time one of those happens, it was everyone's like, whoa, it's so that's half the fun. And the second time, there's so many little things that start becoming really fun. The second time we played, someone in the Venn studio brought me their dice and they had these really nice weighted die. And
wow.
I was like, this is so satisfying. Like, I need to get one of these now. Like, you know, like I was just like, I just want one. And there's those little things that just make it, there's little things that make it so fun. And they were like really cool looking too. And I was like, wow, like, I need to get myself a pair.
That's
a set
big.
now.
They
Yeah.
shared their dice with you?
I know. I was
That's
so
big.
honored. I was like, oh God. I was like, okay, here we go. But it was so fun.
Burgeoning dice addict here.
There was stupid things like that where like we had like a camera like on me like rolling the dice like on my hand, and I was like, oh God, don't look at my bad rolls, like, you know, just like little extra things like that. But it was so fun.
So you know, you talked about that you're starting up a campaign.
Yes.
What, you know, what are you thinking about playing in that? You know, what themes are going to be used there, do you think?
So I don't know. So bear with me here, right? Because I'm really new still. So this might be. I don't know if there's like. I don't know much about the community and like how people feel about things like this. Like if there are purists and non-purists or what the vibes are.
Well, now I'm really interested to hear.
We kind of want to do this. Like, so tell me if this is dumb. I had seen recently that there was like a rule book for like a Star Wars one. And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I love like the wizarding world and that kind of stuff. And so do all my friends. So my friends and I wanted to start off like do a campaign that was kind of like wizarding world inspired. And that's kind of like, you know, where it was a little bit like magical, and we all create our wands and things like that. But then I was like,
not dumb. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was like, but is there like purists like that are going to be like, no, like we do not Harry Potter D&D, you know?
Well, I mean, I think Harry Potter is D&Ding, you know, quite a bit there too. I mean, it's not like it was created in a vacuum. Of what fantasy is, and if everybody borrows things from each other.
Okay.
Me personally, I think my taste, I would do something that's like, you know, adjacent or similar, but not exactly in that world,
Inspired
so that you can
by.
mix it.
Yes, exactly. Inspired by. So just like more of a wizardy feeling.
Absolutely. There's no reason that you can't have your characters meet at a school like Hogwarts and
I was inspired by one aspect of watching the Harry Potter movies over the quarantine and pandemic with my kids, and how Dumbledore always uses his wand as a microphone. I was always really amazed by that. Like how he pointed it at his side, and it looked weird and unnatural, but it also reminded me of Bob Barker,
the
old
long
school
stick
Price is
microphone.
Right, where he had the long stick microphone.
Yeah.
And it also made me think about glam rock, like David Bowie, kind of, you know, early David Lee Roth type of stuff. So I created a character that was a mashup of all those inspirations, and he's a bard who's a dual wielding wand sorcerer who uses his magic, his illusionary magic, for his stage show in Waterdeep, and like has color sprays and things like going and pyrotechnics happening behind him. Right? And it's exactly what you're talking about. It's like taking things from different sources and mashing them up in a weird and interesting way that you're just excited to play. That's what all D&D characters come from.
That is so cool. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. And then we ended up doing the Descent into Avernus campaign, and I was like, that's even more perfect, right? That it has this like hellscape kind of thing, you know, like the old school album covers of the 70s and some of the 80s, you know, in there. Yeah. It's stretch the limits.
I love that. I like that. I like the hellscape vibe. That's a cool vibe. I just finished watching Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And that was that was all like, there's like all the whole hell thing going on there. So that's a good time too. And there's magic there. So, hey, the wheels are turning.
Yeah, there's a lot. You can take inspiration from anywhere.
Yeah.
And as being a real life bard, I mean, it feels, you know, like you could lend a lot to playing that. I mean, I love when musicians, you know, even if they're playing bards or anything, but just add the element of singing or music to the game. It's so interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. So who is this a campaign you're going to play in, or are you thinking about dungeon mastering?
Oh, I could not
No,
DM.
just play.
Yeah. Whoa, that's scary.
Maybe down
Give her
the
a few
road.
months at least, Shelly.
Terrifying. No, yeah. I think we're trying to decide who we want to, because we have a friend who does DM, but we want him to play in the campaign with us. So we haven't figured out who's gonna DM yet. But so my friends and I, we were talking about like, just they have campaigns that they do, this group, and we were talking about, just starting a campaign for fun. And then I was like, what if we like live stream it, and then I'll like cut the highlights down for YouTube, and like, it'll like be fun, and like we could do like a little series out of it, and like and then they were like, oh my God, that'll be so fun. So yeah, I'm really excited to do it. I'm just like so pumped.
I'm excited to see you do this.
Thanks.
What are you thinking about in terms of character? Like,
I don't know yet, because I think it depends on, we have to like narrow down the idea first. I think I want to create a new character. I don't want to bring in my other one, because that was my first time creating a character. So now that I have a little bit better of an idea on how to like balance some of the attributes and things like that, I definitely want to like, start from scratch, start a new character. I know like we want to have a really good time with it. So we want to like be like cosplay while we're doing it every week, and like really just like go full on. So I'm just really, really excited. It's a really good group of people too, who are just like, we play games together every single night, and we often are talking in like accents and voices and yelling and just doing like being in character already. So it's something that's like not going to be unnatural for all of us to just like fully commit to a character together. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, you have a leg up for sure, having been a League of Legends player, because, that's 5 people having to work together to accomplish a goal, and everybody's got different skills and everything like that. That's, that's basically a little D&D party. You're being a little bit more competitive in it, but that's, that's what it is all about.
Yeah, for sure.
Just making sure there's more accents. That's all.
More accents. There's always more accents that can be found.
And cosplay, that's going to be fun.
Yes. I've never cosplayed before. So that's why I like trying everything, because like I've met so many amazing cosplayers, and I'm like, they're so talented, and it's unbelievable. And I was talking to Anna about it a bunch too, like before and after the show. And I was just like, this is such like a cool like merge of worlds. So I was just like, I just want to do everything. I want to try everything and talk to everybody. And it's so cool. Like people are so talented too. It's insane.
So
that's for sure.
It's kind of along the lines of cosplay a little bit.
Yeah.
Loosely. I'm going to try to tie this in.
Okay.
Greg's going to be like, this is not what we're here to talk about. So I kind of went down a YouTube rabbit hole of your makeup tutorials.
Oh, all like 4 of them.
Oh my God, they're amazing. Amazing.
Thanks.
So anyway, I think that if you talk about talented, like you're very talented in that area as well.
Thank you.
I also like pull my eye when I apply eyeliner, because I don't know how else. And I was so glad to hear you say that.
Yes.
You're like, I know you're not supposed to do this, but I'm doing it because there's no other way to do it.
I don't have that. Some people have that. I just don't have that. And they're like, you're going to have wrinkles when you're older. And I'm like, I'm probably going to have them either way. So, might as well have a good time now.
It's going to happen. And yes, you even said, at least my eyeliner is going to look good.
Exactly.
So maybe like the more, you get into D&D, like we can do a little like, this is like the palette for the rogue or something, for wizards. What would a wizard look like as they go out for nighttime adventuring versus daytime adventuring, that kind of thing. I dove deep into like a special effects makeup hole a few years ago. Oh, fun.
And I loved doing special effects makeup. I didn't actually ever make any videos, but I have some photos of them. So I would love like if one of my characters gets like attacked or something, the next time I show up with just like a big slash. Like I am, cool. I'm a very full send person. I'm a very full commit person.
Super cool. Like scars, like if they had like an actual that's like part of their backstory and all.
Yeah.
Actually,
I have like a mysterious scar down my face, and it's like clearly the story contributes to my character, but like it takes time to unearth the story.
A lightning bolt on your forehead.
I'm the boy who lived. I am the boy.
Never been done before.
That's one of my favorite things to yell when I'm playing League of Legends. If I ever escape like and barely get out of a fight and like still manage to live, I just start yelling, "I am the boy who lives." And so yeah, that's that would be accurate. That would be good.
I love the idea of doing it in like as the session is going on too. So like if you're like, oh, your character took like 30 points of damage, then you're like, all right, I got to make sure I'm toughening myself up and make it look like I gotten beat up.
Wow, this is great. Is this a development session?
Yeah, we're just brainstorming.
What's going on? Like
we're inspired, Chrissy. You've inspired us. We're so excited.
This is great. I love
one time,
this.
I know I've told the story before on Dragon Talk, but one time I was on a stream when we were at GaryCon, and I was playing a tabaxi, and everybody was a bard because they were all super talented singers. And me, which I just told you, I do not sing, and I'm really not that talented. So I decided I was playing a tabaxi, so I went to a face painter. So I wanted my face to like be like Cool Cat, like a tabaxi, but she gave me like full on like 4-year-old girl kitty face.
Oh no!
And I had to show up to my game.
That's so good though. I love that. But that's yes, I feel that what you were going for is I spiritually relate to that.
You were trying to do a full send and you were not.
I did. And it was like, return to sender. Sorry.
you full sent. It just, it's okay.
It went to the wrong address. Like,
it's fine. You know what? It's okay. It's okay.
You're like, I showed up and there was like a ladybug on one cheek and a sun on the other.
But it makes a great story. So.
I mean, it was full. Like, go to the zoo, get your 4-year-old's face painted.
Whiskers.
Yes. Like the little like white little cheek and like the little button mouth. Yeah, like the cheeks. And
did you see it while it was happening at all?
No,
or was
that's
it like
the thing.
You had no idea till the end?
No, and it was literally like doing it. I'm like, oh, I hope I have time. Okay, yes, hurry up. But like do the kitty face, and then I'm gonna go right to my game, which was being live streamed. And there was no time. No time to
wait, so there's evidence of this online.
It is out there.
Oh, I love this. I love that.
We've actually even had guests who were in that game who were like, wait, that was you?
Yes. I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, remember that game we played? And he was like, I've never played D&D with you. I'm like, oh, that was the cat.
I was, and they were like, oh, the cat.
He's like, oh, I thought that was like a 6-year-old girl. I didn't know that was actually.
It was such a complete transformation.
It was. I transformed. But,
you did it.
But I was committing to my tabaxi character. So.
I feel it. I believe.
Anyway, I think that you could probably do a lot better with makeup than
I love that. That's great.
So, all right. So when are we doing the stream? I'm excited. Let's go. Let's get it.
I'm so excited. This is a great idea. I'm like very you think I'm joking, but this will actually happen.
No, I believe it. And yes, I want you to play more D&D because clearly you've been bit by the bug and you need more D&D in your life.
Yes, I do. I'm like so excited. I literally cannot wait.
And then on top of all of this D&D, the streams and the guest house show and all that, so you are still in a band.
Yes. Yeah.
And you are still putting out music.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And something new happening soon?
Yeah, so we have a new song coming out in just a few weeks, and it's going to be released with a video, and this is my favorite music video that we've ever filmed. So I'm so excited to release this video and this song. This song we actually wrote. It's the first song we wrote when the lockdown started.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually, we've had this in our back pocket for over a year now. And so it'll be pretty crazy, or about a year now. It'll be pretty crazy to finally release it because we had started writing new music right before the lockdown. And then all of a sudden the lockdown hits and everyone was like, the whole music industry was like, well, we don't know what to do. We're all just on vacation now, I guess. Everyone was put on pause. But we were like, no, we have to keep writing. So I had never ran my own recording software before. I had never used recording software before since I was when I was a teenager, but I had lost that from not using it for like a decade. And
I'm sure the software got updated and changed.
Very different.
Right?
I use a whole different program now. I was using Pro Tools back in the day, and this time I used Logic for my DAW. I had very minimal equipment. So I had to like order all the like mics and cables and a new interface and all this stuff to set up a home studio, which I had never had to have before. And we did it though. And this was, I think the first week of quarantine, we're like, our producer and I were like, let's just get on Zoom and see what we can do. It might be terrible because no one had been doing video writing sessions. Now we do everything over a video conference, right? Now it's like, there's nothing you can't do over Zoom. But at the time we had never, like, people did not write over Zoom. It was really unnatural. You like to be in a room. I like to walk around. I like to just sing out into the air and someone's playing the track over the speakers and things like that. And writing over Zoom is a very different workflow because someone can't just play it. There's a little bit of that delay and there's just all these different obstacles. And this song came out the very first time we wrote together over Zoom. And it was like, oh, we can do this. We can make this work. We can do something. So seeing this song actually come out is super, it's super fulfilling because it was just, there was so much fear and I don't even know how to describe it, just uncertainty during that time. So having this song just be born is really, really, really exciting.
That's great. I mean, there's been, a couple of albums that have come out over the last year that have been made this way. I watched the Taylor Swift documentary about folklore. Yeah. That's been in the rotation a whole bunch, as well as I just got into Weezer's album, which definitely feels of the moment. Yeah. And some of those lyrics just feel like, oh crap, yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. And so it is not a good time, obviously, and no one's really excited about all this, but it is interesting to me that perhaps more than any other art form, the musicians and the music world has embraced, we're in this emotional moment right now. Yeah. Let's freaking talk about it and sing about it and get the music out about what is going on for everyone. And, it sounds like, this, I don't know if the song is exactly going to be of that same emotional ilk, but I just love the fact that you had to pull in all of those, at home studio things to be able to make it happen.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm the better for it too. Now I can record my own vocals with confidence and with a great deal of proficiency. Whereas before I was a deer in headlights. So I think there is a blessing in all of this as well. And a really great learning experience too. So am I happy there was a global pandemic and there still continues to be? Absolutely not. But I guess it's one of those when life gives you lemons type thing. And I am very happy to have my lemonade.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
And drink it too.
And drink it, yeah.
Interesting that you say about the music and that hearing songs that are, written during this time or inspired by this time is kind of comforting. But when I see anything about COVID in my TV, because I watch a lot of reality TV.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff was filmed while this was ramping up or during. Yeah. I don't want to see it.
No,
it's no, too close to home. I don't want to see people living through that March, April period of when things were ramping up. But music is different because so much of it is subjective and it's depending on the mood I'm in, a song will be completely different, even if it's a song that I've heard a million times before. So I don't.
Also more metaphorical.
Yeah.
Too. Not so much I there are some analogies that I think the music world has had to abandon. People love the analogy of wearing a mask, to conceal who you are. And now I'm I can literally never use that analogy again. I can never use that as a metaphor ever again. Just instantly triggered as soon as I hear that. And so it is the rest of the globe. But yeah, there are just ways to capture emotions rather than capture specificities. I never want to hear the words quarantine or that kind of thing. Or even just isolation. I'm just a little too specific for me right now. So
yeah. No, don't need to hear it.
But capturing those emotions is very comforting too.
And it's something that music does probably better than a lot of other forms of art, right? Because even gaming, there's no chance I'm going to be, as a dungeon master, being all right, there's a plague happening. What are we going to do? And, I won't be able to use that for 10 years, without it triggering back those moments, unless it's deliberately what the campaign is about. Same thing with movies and TV and even theater, I don't really see that right now. Maybe as a period piece.
People don't want it right now.
No.
They don't want it right now.
Think of it. They're like, no more. I was watching The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Oh,
and at one point the the old mistress of the house is sick and she's like coughing.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there like wildly uncomfortable. Like I can't listen to this woman in the 1800s coughing right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's also very
so
triggering.
like I was like
Yep.
And they're like in the room with her without masks on and I'm like, oh
what are
my
you doing?
God. Like,
Stay 6 feet apart.
just like sweating, profusely sweating. Like I'm like, this is not relaxing. And then you have like the people that are like hating on like Emily in Paris because it's like this like just bubbly, light, like happy. And I'm like, no, please, I just want to watch
that's what we need.
That's all I want to watch. I'm like, give me the most unrealistic, cheesy, like rom-com-y, like nothing to do with reality. Even in that show, they say like the word influencer, and I was like, ugh. I was like, I don't want anything. I think that's why everyone liked Bridgerton, because it was like a period piece, had nothing to do with anything that we're going through. Like they must have nothing.
They had a character that was coughing and tuberculosis with like the blood spots on it. And they're like, no, we cut it out. We don't need that right now.
No. They were like, nah, too much. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, that's like what happened in that other show. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm good. No coughing.
I think we had a similar reaction when we were watching the Bly Manor house. Yeah. I cannot see people sick, coughing, gasping for breath. Oh.
Yeah, nope. I was like, oh God. I was like, and they're like, she has the lung. And I was like, it's called COVID.
I've got the black lung pop.
Call it by its name. Oh God. That was like, I was like, all right, let's get to fast forward through all the coughing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about new music that you're coming out with. And I love that, you kind of DIY'd it and made it, yourself. I think that's pretty much a metaphor for what everybody has had to do in working from home in this pandemic. And it's awesome that you're able to kind of continue that work as well as, have this newfound love of Dungeons and Dragons and spinning that up. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Well, excited to see what you do next in this campaign, the stream that's going to happen.
Thank you. I'm so
by
excited.
Harry Potter, Star Wars, whatever. We are here for
everything. We'll sprinkle everything.
I think that's cool. That's a cool idea.
You're getting into Baldur's Gate 3, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. My friends and I want to start a Baldur's Gate campaign as well. So a different group of friends, actually one of my bandmates and his gaming group. So I think it's in like groups of 4 or something. And they were like, we need a 4th. And I was like, here I am.
Nice. Did you play any of those old school video games? Or is this going to be your first?
I've never played any Baldur's Gate. So I'm like, that's why I'm really excited. I am such, like I said, I really like to just dive head first. So
yeah, I can't wait to see when that's games in full release and you're getting people who are, multiplayering together, having some of that, maybe some experience with D&D from the past, but also then bringing it forward or being new to it. Larian has added so much amazing stuff. I just saw about how the Druid is in the game now, and so many folks love that nature. Just the spellcastery type thing. 100%. And so there's tons of stories to tell there. I'm personally waiting for the bard as well.
I'm so excited. We got to get a bard in there.
Yeah, right? I just want to be able to sing on stream so that everyone can be annoyed with my really bad singing voice as well, Shelly.
It's fantasy. That. In fantasy, you have a wonderful voice.
Oh, they can't tell you it's bad because you're like, no, it's good. It's good. That's my character. It's good. Yeah.
That was the best part about playing that character I mentioned, was because I didn't have anything in my back pocket to start singing when I was doing a performance in game, and it didn't matter because I could just roll a die and be like, all right, I got a 25 performance check, so it rocked the house. It didn't matter.
Great, you can't say anything. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I wish I could do that for my regular shows.
Yeah, right? If only it was that easy.
Just roll a die; it'll be fine.
Yes, that would be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for being here and talking through everything. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and I hope people listening and watching get as excited to jump into D&D like it was their first time.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you having me on. I was so excited to get to come hang out with you guys today.
Yeah, we're excited too.
And we mentioned the song. Where can people find out about it and hopefully get the album or whatever when it comes out?
Yeah, so if you follow Against the Current on Instagram or on Twitter or our website, atcofficial.com, all the info will be there.
I often swim against the current.
This whole past year has been against the current.
It has been. It really has been. It's been an upstream year.
Definitely.
Good job naming that band.
Thank you. We thought about COVID, 10 years ago when we named it. We were ready for it.
You divined it. It's all been in the stars this whole time.
Yes.